Let's take a look at how to go about creating stored procedures in SQL. A stored procedure is a prepared SQL code that you can save so that the code can be reused over and over again. So if you have an SQL query that you write over and over again, saving it as a stored procedure allows for you to call it and execute it whenever needed. You can also pass parameters to stored procedure so that the stored procedure can act based on the parameter values that is passed. Let's take a look at how to go about creating stored procedures, how they actually work, and the type of results that you'd get when using stored procedures. So we'll be creating a stored procedure today to execute a particular statement that would show some information in our vehicle table. So let's first start off by looking at what is currently in our vehicle table. So in our vehicle table we have 8 records in 4 columns. Now we also have a table called color. So let's take a look at that table. In that table we have 2 records in 1 column. We have white and black. So what we'll be doing today is creating a stored procedure that will return records from our vehicle table when it identifies that there is a color in the color table matching. So let's execute both. Now if we notice we have white and black in our color table, and we have some vehicles that are white, black, and others that are silver, red. Now silver, red, and blue. Now what we're trying to achieve is creating a stored procedure that when executed it will return the vehicles in the vehicle table that has a matching color in the color table. So what we'll first do is form our statement that we'd want to use to then use to create a stored procedure. So we'll start off by providing our select keyword, and we're going to note the columns that we want to have returned. So we're only interested in the make, the model, and the color. We're getting this information from our vehicle table. And what we're going to do now is utilize the exists operator so that once it identifies that a color is present in the color table, it will return the records in the vehicle table that has a matching color. So we're going to say where exists, and then in brackets now we'll create another query so that it will know the information in the color table that it should match against the vehicle table. So before continuing, I'll just alias the vehicle table with letter V, and we'll say select you're going to alias the color table with the letter C, and we're going to give a where condition and say where C dot color is equal to V dot color. So what this is saying is we're selecting where exists all the colors when there's a color matching from the colors table and the vehicles table. So we're going to highlight and execute this statement to take a look at our results. We have returned 5 records, and if you pay close attention, we'll see that the color column only contains vehicles that have a color of white or black. So now we're ready to go about creating our stored procedure. So what we'll do to start off in creating our stored procedure is use the keyword create procedure, and we'll give a name to the procedure. So we're going to call this vehicle color, and then we'll use the as keyword, and now we're going to execute this statement. So we're saying create procedure vehicle color as, and this is the statement that we're using, so we're going to execute, and it has successfully created this stored procedure. So now what we're going to do is to execute our stored procedure, and to execute our stored procedure we'll need to use the exe, which would be a shortening for execute, and the name of our stored procedure. So in this case our stored procedure is called vehicle color. So if we're to execute this stored procedure, we should have the records returning the 5 vehicles that have the color white and black, and it has returned what we have expected. Now this is just a quick look at how to use the stored procedure as a means to store a SQL statement that you'd be using repetitively, so that you're able to call on it without having to rewrite that statement every time you are needed to run. Our key takeaways: in using the SQL stored procedure, you would use the following syntax to create the stored procedure. So you'd start off by using the create procedure, then you'd provide the name of the procedure that you'd want for the stored procedure to be called, then you'd use the as keyword, and then provide the SQL statement that will be executed when the stored procedure is called. Now to go about executing the stored procedure, you'd use the exe keyword, and then you'd refer the procedure name for the stored procedure to be executed.